What are you doing right now?
The big V. Look, man.
All right, man. Let's just jump right into this shit.
I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway.
You...
¿Es a major?
Pasar con eso. Pasar con español.
¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Man Chatter podcast.
One, and we are live.
Listen, you see us dressed up. We officially Real Madrid, Barcelona. He has the Leo Messi jersey. I have the good old Marcelo, the best left back of all time. But before we get into this debate, right? Because obviously Barcelona's been heavy in the news the last couple of weeks. With Leo Messi getting shitted on by his childhood club. I gotta tell you guys a story about what just happened in between these two shows. So I am going to get my good old scarf, as you see it. Real Madrid, a la Madrid, para siempre y nada más. Right? And my wife goes to put the chickens up, and she goes, "Ah, snake!" That was her exact reaction.
Is that what she sounds like?
Snake. Yeah, that's in my obviously not with the voice isn't that deep because that'd be weird. But it was like, snake in the coop. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm shirtless because I'm changing from my previous shirt to this shirt, right? To my jersey. And I run out shirtless, no shoes on. Still currently don't have any shoes on because I record from my house. Why the fuck would I have shoes on? Run out there, grab a metal rake, pull that bitch out that's currently biting one of my chickens, pull it out, grab the end of the fucking rake, start smashing it. Bang, bang, bang. I break that piece of wood because I'm a fucking gorilla. Well established. Shout out to the tattoo. Wait. This one. That's that elephant. And then the motherfucker keeps moving because I'm hitting it on the body. I yell. I was like, hey, put the light on this motherfucker so I can see the head. So I can smash his head open. Found. Second piece, I get like, it's like a broomstick or, you know, like the long roller sticks that you use for,
like painting?
Or brushing, for like painting.
Yeah.
For painting and shit. I get that one. Bam! Smash that one too. I broke its fucking skull open.
Jesus.
Hey man, real quick. Yeah. If I didn't drink whiskey in the previous show that we did earlier, I don't know if my reaction would have been the same. But also, it felt good to murder that shit that was coming after my fucking animals, also known as my family. Because those chickens give me eggs, and I eat their eggs, and they are delicious.
But why would you kill the snake, man? That's just the cycle of life. Like, it was hungry, and it does what a predator does. It's going after its dinner.
You know why? Because I'm a predator, too.
Where's the fucking rooster at?
Yeah, motherfucker didn't do shit. Like the rooster. Here's the thing. You've been to my house.
Yeah.
I have two things where they roost at.
Yeah.
The rooster was on the other one. Like, hey man, that's pretty much God's will. Like, hey,
exactly. You should have just let it happen.
Then I am the execution of God's will because I'm about to murder this fucking snake. How about that? I am Archangel Michael in this shit. I am about to, and I murdered that snake.
Where's your wife, man? She needs to take the whiskey away from you.
She's nowhere to be found.
Because that ice, I think you're just putting ice, and you're just a little too overconfident. You're just sipping because it's cold and it goes down easy. Oh shit, you're a lightweight too. Like that's gonna knock you out until Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't drink this much and then watch Lovecraft Country because it's gonna be a problem. I might think some shit is really happening, but dude, I murdered that motherfucking snake, bro. Like I did not listen. You come after me. Or any animal I have. If somebody came after my dog, I'd rip his fucking head off. You ever seen King Kong? Where like King Kong reaches inside the T-Rex and breaks the skull? That's probably what I would do. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. I don't fuck around, bro. It was intense. My heart was racing, adrenaline was pumping, and I murdered that snake. I murdered it. It's dead. And I want all its friends to know this is what the fuck you get. Because I don't know if it killed, like, dude, I
don't think they watch the podcast.
Probably not. Pro snakers probably don't watch this podcast. Is there such a thing as pro snakers?
Pro animal rights, PETA. Although PETA's a bullshit group. There's another animal rights group that's actual That's real.
Yeah, Peter's all bullshit. But yeah, man, I just wanted to tell you guys that story because that happened in between our recordings. I murdered a snake. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I look. Your hand is shaking a little bit. You might want to drink some more whiskey.
Dude, it is shaking a little. I'm hyped. I murdered that.
You
shit.
got that adrenaline pumping through your body. It's like I just beat this.
There's that moment where there's that moment where like I don't know if that snake is poisonous or not because I don't know fucking snakes like that. Where like I don't know if my life is in danger or my wife's life is in danger or anything else. Where like my only focus is kill everything that might be a threat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't take time to ask it if it had a criminal record. I didn't take time to ask it if it did something wrong at some point. You know what I mean? Like if it had killed previous chickens.
I mean, look, if that's the attitude you're taking, then how can you blame cops who shoot people that are unarmed?
Yeah, but see, the thing is,
I'm just saying
they have a license.
I'm just saying, you had a rake and a machete, and you're like a few hundred pounds heavier than them.
First of all, I should get a machete. I 100% should have a machete in my house. 100%. But I beat that shit. I beat that fucking snake with what most people would call a fucking roller of a brush, a push broomstick, and a rake. That's how I defeated it. But you know what? I knew it was already causing damage, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and execute this bitch. It's time for it to go." Listen, man, you lived a good. I hope it lived a good snake life. Is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it definitely ended on a feast, right? It was enjoying its life up to the moment where you like chopped its head off or whatever the hell you did.
100% murdered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would have chopped its head off and like wore it as a necklace on this show. You know what I mean? I would have put a little string through it. I'm like,
no, you wouldn't, dude. You're terrified of snakes. You wouldn't have done that.
I'm not terrified of snakes. If I was terrified of snakes, I wouldn't have ran out there. I would have been like, hey, that chicken's out for itself.
That's why you did it. That's why you had a rake, though. You had like a good 6 foot buffer, whatever, however long that handle is.
First of all, the reason why I had the rake was I wasn't gonna grab it by my hand. That's just stupid. You know what I mean? I've seen enough snake movies to be like, oh, it could flip back on me. Like I had to keep it at a distance, pull it out of the chicken because it looked like it was biting it, and then I'm gonna fucking murder this shit. That's just that's just smart thinking.
Yeah. You
don't
haven't been watching Bear
panic,
Grylls enough,
okay?
man. That's what it is.
You pause yourself. You pause yourself.
I did not. I definitely did not.
I can't hear you.
How about
my
now?
Mic probably died.
I did. I think.
There we go. Yeah, my headphones died.
Your headphones are dying, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, let's get into it, man. Listen, that's enough of the snake story. We don't want to do another hour podcast when these are supposed to be 37 minutes.
Right.
Why? Listen, I'll ask you this. Obviously, you see it all guarded and completely Real Madrid. You know what I mean? This is just what it is.
Yeah.
A la Madrid, nada más. But why the fuck is Barcelona shitting on Lionel Messi the way they do, bro? Because that's what is that like. Listen, completely from the opposite side. I need Lionel Messi on Barcelona and happy because it makes those 2 games a year at Clásicos better. Now, at Clásicos, they're gonna be without Ronaldo and without Messi because Messi is very likely heading to Man City. Why the fuck did Barcelona do this, bro?
But what's going on though? Because La Liga, and I'm reading. I had to catch up because I saw something that came out within the last hour, I think, and I hadn't seen this before. So they upheld Barcelona's claim, right, that he's got a clause, like a no trade clause, or something.
$700 million.
700 million euros. $834 million.
Yes.
What in the fuck is that?
To buy him.
Buy him.
Yeah. First of all, real quick.
That's not even the money that he's getting paid. That's just to have the rights to buy the dude.
Yeah.
What?
So if you don't know, let's give people some background, right? Like Danny, who's gonna listen to this podcast, always like to give you a shout out. You were actually one of the ideas of why we should do this podcast. Is the fact that in European soccer, there's buyout clauses, right? Where like PSG bought out Neymar from Barcelona for $200 and something million, right? 250 or whatever it is, which ended up being like 200 at that point, like 290 million US dollars, not euros.
It's a lot of money
or whatever it is. and that's just to buy that specific player.
Yep.
That's not the wages that player makes. When I say wages, you're like, oh, what the fuck is wages? This is America, Jack. The salary that player makes per week,
Yeah.
right? Because each player gets paid weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Messi gets paid around $2.5 million American per week, which averages out to a little bit over $100 million every year, right? But to buy him from the great club, because we're in America, right? Like, there's no actual rivalry disdain here. The great club that is Barcelona is $800 million American. But there was supposed to be a loophole where he could go out on a free transfer.
Mm-hmm.
But the courts got involved because, I mean, obviously they would.
Right.
It's Messi. To not let him get that clause, and they have to pay the $800 million. I don't know who the fuck can pay that. But I also don't know why the fuck Barcelona would want to keep him when he so clearly wants to leave.
Right. What is he really going to do? What's he going to do in that final season, though? I mean, really, if they don't release him.
Why would you keep him? Why would you keep him? Like, why don't you settle at like $300 million? You know what I mean? Because that way you can make more bad decisions and sign more players that don't work, like Philippe Coutinho or Antoine Griezmann.
Coutinho, who put a goal on them too.
Who just
in the Champions League.
Won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Who just won the Champions League.
Bro, did you watch? Like, Coutinho felt reluctant to. He didn't even celebrate when he put that goal on them because he's still part of Barcelona, right? He's on loan. He's on loan to Bayern. Yes. And so those goals, he was like, I don't really want to celebrate, especially since it was an A2 drubbing. Like, that was hard to watch. But at the same time, look, you've been talking shit to me the whole time. It was embarrassing, but it wasn't unexpected, right? Because Bayern is a machine.
But not A2. Not A2, bro. Not
A2, but who did Bayern beat 2 rounds before that? Was it Man City? No. Or Chelsea? They beat someone like 4-1 or 4, like an English team. And I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was Chelsea or Man City or whatever.
It was Chelsea. It was Chelsea.
And, I mean, I wasn't expecting 8-2, but at the same time, not surprising that they're going to, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like, that team hasn't put any money into anyone. The signings they've had have been terrible.
Bad money. They put bad money into players, yeah.
Into players. They're paying Messi. They're paying to keep Messi, but again, it's just like, I don't remember the situation with Ronaldo. If Real decided to move on or he decided to move on because he knew like it was time. But Barcelona hasn't been. There's no one. Like, you give me shit all the time, but it's true. Who else is there besides Messi? Besides a bunch of aging players, PK is gonna go to the bench. It's just they don't have anyone there, man.
It's actually worse than that with Barcelona, right? Like,
Suarez is leaving.
Obviously, CR7. One of the GOATs, right? Like that's the thing. Like we talk shit and we talk all this. Like, we got to see we got to see LeBron versus Kobe in their prime, right? Like, we got to see two of the greatest soccer players of all time play each other twice a year, every year for 7-8 seasons.
Yeah.
Right. So we were very spoiled, right? And it's not. Listen, again, we're on the American side of it. You see everything, and it is what it is. But it's a very different aspect in the sense that, like, we got to enjoy greatness, right?
We did.
So Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid was more amicable, right? Because Real Madrid still did like a thank you video, did all this stuff before it got toxic, right?
Yeah. Because
Ronaldo they knew they had 3 more years of him. It hurt seeing Ronaldo leave because, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we had younger players like Marco Asensio, Lucas Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got Fede Valverde and different players, right? Like, you have all these different players and I never liked, and I'll say this on the record now, as I said it a year ago, I never liked the signing from the guy from Chelsea, Hazard.
Eden Hazard, right? Eden Hazard.
I was never a fan. I thought he was older. Like, that's like soccer more than most other
Pop belly. He was all on Instagram. Like, I remember
he
something.
Showed up fat. He looked like Higuain. He showed up looking like Higuain, wearing a jersey that's 3 sizes too big.
Yeah.
Which, real quick, side note, Inter Miami might side Higuain, which I'm not happy about. but I guess in MLS he'll be a solid striker.
He definitely will
whatever.
be. Yeah.
Like whatever that stands for in the MLS, low bar. But like it hurts seeing those two players not play each other. But Messi, in a lot of sense, is the victim of his own success, right? Like we take this shit out of it. We take the partisanship, the Real Madridness, and your side, the Barcelona out of it.
Barcelona.
Which real quick, I can't say it any other way than that. Barcelona.
Barcelona.
It's not a Z, but it is what it is.
It's a TH. Barcelona.
Barcelona. It's not even a Z, right? It's Barcelona.
It's like a TH, like Barcelona.
But yeah, 100% is. But like Messi's greatness overshadowed a lot of shortcomings for Barcelona, right? You had bad signings in the three players that I mentioned. I never understood why they signed Antoine Griezmann when that's basically Messi's role on that team.
Yeah.
I never understood why they signed a Philip Coutinho when they didn't want to get away from an Ivan Rakitic or the other old guy, not Nelson Semedo, another guy that I can't remember, the Busquets. That's another aging center mid. Yeah, like it's in that position, right? Where Messi is reluctant to give up his role because he's one of the greatest of all time, right? Like in that moment, you have to make the hard decision as a club to be like, look, we're not going to win with Messi anymore. Let's sell him and get better players in return, then hold on to him, right? Where you become, it's always this position where like if you're in the position of authority, you get to dictate how the news operates, right?
Right.
Where you go, look, we're gonna go rebuild. Messi doesn't deserve to be here while we were rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna sell him to Man City at a price that is reduced. Because, thank you so much, Lionel Messi, for everything you've done for the club. That's how you get ahead of this.
I think so. Yeah.
Leaving it in Messi's corner or Messi's side of the ball, you only lose as a club where people are going to hate you because you're Josep Bartomeu and you decided to hold on a little long and you made bad signings. And you go, hey man, we're gonna figure this shit out. And you signed a coach and was it Koeman?
Koeman? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know who the guy is.
Yeah. Who goes, hey man, all the privileges are over.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, don't say that to LeBron. Like Pat Riley said that to LeBron and look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean that is it. That's exactly what happened. That's the same situation. The greatest player at the time, and you tell him, hey, I'm the president. I run shit. This is what happens.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, well then if that's what happens, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna just fucking give up on Game 5. By the way, I was in San Antonio for Game 5, and I was about to buy a ticket, and I decided not to go. And then when I was watching it at a bar on TV, Miami was up like by 20 points almost. Huh?
San Antonio's a beautiful city, bro.
Yeah, I was there for like 2 months, 2.5 months for like reclass, like a couple years before I got out of the army. But yeah, I love San Antonio. Actually, the short time I spent there I really liked it. But I ended up not going. I said, no, I'm not gonna spend $400 for this game. Like they're down 3-1. Like it'd be nice to go to a finals game, but I'll pass. And Miami was up by 18-20 at some point, and I was like, damn, I'm regretting this shit. They ended up losing, right? They got beat 4-1. LeBron, at some point in the fourth quarter, he was just like walking. His whole body language was the same body language I saw in Barcelona when they got beat. Fuck, now you got me saying Barcelona. When they got beat,
you gotta say it.
8-2.
You have to say it like that. You have to.
I didn't even think about it. It just came out naturally, you fuck. But
It's my fault, son.
Barcelona. But his body language is the same body language that I saw in all these players from Barcelona in that 8-2 loss. Like they were done. They quit. They were thinking about something else, and his body language was like, I'm done. And I was like, this dude is not coming back to Miami. Not that I blame them, but I was like, hey, those are the greatest 4 years of basketball that the Heat have had. And they've had some like teams where even though they didn't go far in the playoffs, 90s and 2000s, you're talking about like Mourning and Hardaway and the teams of that era.
Jamal Mashburn,
God, Steve Smith, like they just had some good teams, right?
Yes.
Even D Wade with Shaq,
man.
those years.
Yes.
The Heat had, those are the greatest 4 years of basketball. So I didn't fault them. I hate on LeBron. I hate on him and his hairline. You have that in common.
Hey,
Hey,
man,
come on now.
this is real. Hey, I'm not doing a sew-in, bro.
You're right.
Understand something?
You're right.
I'm gonna own this shit. I'm gonna own this shit until the day I die, man. I'm never gonna do a sew-in where like Anthony Davis will be like, "Hey, man, your fucking hairline." That's never gonna be me.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it was
clear.
it was rough to watch that because he was done, and because of the conversations that they had with Riley and everything leading up to that, and that game kind of just, if he hadn't made his mind up already, when I saw him during that game, I knew that he wasn't coming back. Like I didn't need to wait for ESPN or someone to break the news. Like he wasn't coming back to Miami.
Yeah. It was never like it's hard, right? When a team, it's different because we got to see LeBron with the Heat during his prime, even though he's still doing great things with the Lakers and then winning a championship with the Cavs.
Yeah.
A team that didn't deserve it because of the terrible owner they have.
But he was 28 when he went to the Heat. Like that was entering his prime, like right.
That was entering his like perfect timing.
Yeah.
But like now seeing, like it's different. Where like if LeBron, I would say like this, the Heat is a first class organization as opposed to the Cavs.
Yeah.
Like if LeBron was with the Heat his entire career and it ended like this, it's what it feels like with Messi ending with Barcelona, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It got to the point where it never should have gotten there, because the greatest game we ever see as fans is Ronaldo versus Messi, Real Madrid versus Barcelona, right? Like it's a game that even if you don't watch, you check the stats of, you check the score. It's a clásico. You know what I mean? Like we're never gonna have that again. We were spoiled emphatically for 7 years.
Yeah.
Right? Where we got to see two of the greatest players go back and forth. I wish I would have looked up the stats of like what their head to head was, but it doesn't matter. In the sense that like we got to see two. I remember seeing the heartbreaking loss where Messi hit that fucking counterattack off of Ter Stegen fucking stop, and then they scored the goal on the other end where James Rodriguez had just scored a goal to tie it 2-2, and then it ended up being 3-2 Messi.
That's a couple years ago. That was that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I remember seeing that game, and then me and Danny talking about it. It was like, bro, what the fuck? Like we just had the draw. Barcelona was clearly the better team.
Danny's a Real fan, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you and him both are lost souls. That's okay. The Lost Boys. That's what I'm gonna call you guys. The Lost Boys. Fucking vampires.
Fede Valverde is better than any center mid you have. Right, I would understand that.
What do you think about Dembele?
And he's Paraguayan. I think Dembele's injured too much.
He's not a center mid. I know he's a midfielder. He's young.
He's a right. He's a right winger.
He's still young.
A right winger. This is for the football heads. This, because we're not gonna call it that S word, because that's disrespectful.
No, it says ballonpied. It says football. This is even football because that's what they call it in England.
Yeah, this is tiki taka. This is La Liga. This is the greatest players of all time.
And by the way, before you keep going, let me say something about Spanish football. My uncle's staying with me, and he's absolutely right. He's been watching. He's 67. He's 66. Mm-hmm. And he brought this point up, and I had to go back and look, and he's right. Like Spanish football is really nothing except the last 15 years. Like, and why was that?
Yeah.
A lot of it was Pep Guardiola brought tiki taka, and then you had this talent of Messi and CR7.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, because the way that they play football in all these places is they have their like specific way of playing football, which is like in England they play like that power football, right? A lot of like that's just a lot of aggressive attacking.
Yeah.
Spain, Guardiola brought that tiki taka, which he learned that probably from like the Netherlands is what they play. They play that in the Netherlands, and he brought that to the Spanish league, to La Liga, and that's the soccer that they were playing there. That's what won them the World Cup in 2010, 2014.
Yeah,
when did
Arjen
Spain?
Robben.
When did Spain win it? Spain won it in 2010.
I have to Google that, and you know my internet is shitty, bro.
Yeah,
Let's
with the great team that they had, right? That team was essentially that team was essentially Barcelona and maybe some Real players. Like that's who they were. that entire Spanish team. A lot of the guys I know, some of them played in Man U and stuff like that.
Sergio Ramos.
Sergio Ramos, yeah.
Yeah, he was young. He was young then.
He was young. Is that style of football though?
Best center backs of all time. Yeah, like it 100. Listen, like there's a movie on Netflix right now that I've been meaning to watch. It's called The English Game. The football is 100% started in England, right?
Yeah.
And there's no, but
I don't like the way they play it.
Ronaldo. Yeah, I like the way they play. I think the toughness. I appreciate England football a lot more, but I'm like El Clásico with those two goats is better than anything England can produce.
But
in my opinion,
but the
right?
players now, why are the teams that are successful? It's not English coaches that are bringing them success.
No,
right?
It's really not.
A German. What's your fucking Liverpool? You damn Red Devil fan. What's that dude's name? Right? It's not the same type. It's not the same type of football. I know I know you don't have the jersey.
It's German,
but it's a different type of football.
It right there, bro. Next podcast, I will wear that shit. I have my Mo Salah jersey right there,
and that's closer to tiki taka than
German football.
That's closer to tiki taka than English football. It's a lot of passing, a lot of moving, shifting the defense. It's different, a completely different type of football than whoever the guy Man U was for a long time. I can't even remember his name.
Sir, it was like
Sir something. Sir English white dude. Yeah, that guy.
You want to Google that with your great internet?
I'm gonna do it right now on my phone. he's like part of their ownership now, or part of like one of their like administrators.
I think he had Alex Ferguson. Sir
Ferguson.
Sir Ferguson?
Yeah, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Ferguson was the last name. Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yep.
Like it becomes this thing. Like and again, Ronaldo played at Manchester United and won Champions Leagues there. But this isn't a Messi versus Ronaldo podcast. It's not what this is. We can have that on a completely different show.
Yeah.
This is a completely football oriented podcast. And look, I will always 100% appreciate Messi's greatness and understand that he is one of the GOATs, right?
Yeah.
With Pele, with Ronaldo, with CR7, I put those three in like the echelon of greatness for me, right? Like
what about Maradona?
You put Ronaldinho in. Hey, listen, man. Like I'm talking about in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I have to go back and
you
watch
said Pele.
Maradona.
You said Pele.
Yeah, but Pele had a movie made after him, bro. Maradona is more known now about his drug use.
The hand of God. How do you not know that? You don't even need to.
That first of all, he didn't even head that ball in. That was 100% a handball.
The greatest goal, one of the greatest goals in the history of the World Cup, and it wasn't even legit.
It wasn't even legit. He's not that tall, bro.
But he could jump though. I mean, the fact that he could get up that high, dude, he had some hops. But look, that's what by the way, I'm sorry.
Higher. His hand got up higher though.
Yeah, that head of hair, that cocaine got him higher.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, before we go on, because that's what Argentina's hold against Messi, right? He's won at every level except the national level. Fucking Maradona. The reason they won was because he cheated. Like that's what got them there. And that wasn't even in the finals. I think that was like the semis or the quarters or something. It wasn't even the final match. And he cheated to get them there.
I'll say this about Messi. I remember, I want to say 3-4 years ago, whenever the last like CONMEBOL, which is the South American.
I remember that. They lost to Chile.
Bro, and he kicked that. They lost to Chile.
To the fucking moon. That penalty kick.
He kicked that ball. That penalty kick was.
It wasn't even close.
Worst.
That was the pressure PKs. Because that was his chance to be like, I'm gonna win one with the national team. You know that was the pressure right there. You could call it choking.
Those are the
that was it.
Yes.
If that's what you want to call it, that was it.
Where I'm like, that's one of the moments where I'm like, bro, like, that's the difference. Like CR7 in that same year won the Euros with a
shitty
team,
Portugal team.
You can't name three. Bro, Bernardo Silva wasn't even on that team yet.
Oh man,
that's how bad that team was.
There's a difference, right? Because CR7 wasn't expected to win.
On that team.
He was still on that team.
Nani was still on that team.
Damn, Nani was playing with.
He plays in the MLS.
Yeah, Nani was playing with like Messi in the mid 2000s.
That's not what was on that team.
Damn.
I don't know what league they even play in anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Nani when he was young, when he was like in the mid 2000s, playing with Barcelona, right?
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah, that Barcelona. Listen, we're gonna be spoiled now because now let's be real, right? Like this isn't breaking news. Lionel Messi's probably gonna go to Manchester City, right? Like that's just what it's gonna be. They have that. They have that. UAE money.
I was about
They
to tell
have
you.
that.
That's why PSG can afford whoever they want to, because it's
Yep.
owned by some like Saudi guy or someone in the UAE or
Yeah.
whatever. They have that kind of money.
Yeah. And I don't know why he would go to PSG when Kylian Mbappe is gonna end up wearing this jersey. Like that's his childhood dream.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a shot like in that sense where like that's just always been what he says. Who knows if it'll be like 2, 3, 4 years from now
Yeah.
when Real Madrid can afford him after this COVID shit because Europe is affected by it just like we are. But there's seeing it end the way it ends at Barcelona is not what Messi deserved. Right? Like Messi didn't deserve this. And he's gonna be looked at because power gets to dictate the narrative
Mm-hmm.
that in a couple of years we won't remember that like Messi was shitted on with terrible, terrible purchases and buys from Barcelona of buying Antoine Griezmann, same position as Messi.
Fucking crazy.
Ousmane Dembele, similar position as Messi. Uh, Philippe Coutinho, who wasn't ever a 4-2-3-1 guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
who was never that guy. He was more a 4-3-3 center mid, maybe a left winger with, you know what I mean? But now that's Sadio Mane's spot in Liverpool. It was never that position. And it didn't need to end like this, bro. It didn't need to end like this.
Look, if you need to have some sort of like a real world comparison, and this is what jumps to mind, and maybe it's because I'm a Heat fan, it's the way that it ended with Wade. Now he came back to Miami,
Yes.
but all he did, he made the sacrifices. Hell, the Heat should have had two championships before LeBron got there. They won one with Shaq. He could have. I think
Yes.
it was either I don't know if it was a year after they won it or the year before, where Wade drove into the lane against the Pistons, hurt himself, hurt his
Yes.
back. The Heat didn't make it into. They were going to the finals. They were going to win it
Yes.
that year again, and
Yep.
I think that was
Yes.
actually the year after. So they could have two-peated.
Yeah.
And then he took pay cuts. I mean, whatever. I'm not feeling sorry for them. Like, oh shit, you took a pay cut. Now you're only getting paid 14 mil instead of 21 mil. But
Yes.
still, at that level, they're taking the pay cuts, and the team can afford it. Like, hell, teams can afford to take the luxury tax if you're selling tickets and winning finals.
Yes.
And
And buying jerseys.
yeah, and buying jerseys, and so that's what it reminds me of. Where like again, it was that thing where like Riley is, and I'm not gonna blame Riley because he does what he's got to do as president, and I think he's president and owner.
It's business.
It's business, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like he spent his entire career there, from the time he was drafted out of Marquette, and I remember watching him in college, ball
Against
out.
Kentucky. Yeah, triple double.
Yep.
Yep.
And
We talked
immediately
about it.
it was Wade County, like that's what it became.
Yes. Immediately. Dude,
And-
I ran into Dwayne Wade 4 times in my life. Right after probably a week to 10 days after he got drafted by the Heat, he was at the Mall of the Americas. I'll never forget it. I'm walking out of Macy's. If you remember the Mall of the Americas in Miami, Mall of the Americas.
Yeah, shitty mall. I remember.
No, Shitty Mall. No, sorry, Dayland.
Dayland?
Remember Dayland had Macy's in the middle.
Okay.
Dayland had Macy's in the middle, right? And I'm walking out of there, a little bit intoxicated, sir.
I was
This is
about
like
to
my
say
fifth cup.
because
Fuck you,
I
dude.
could buy Mall of the Americas right now. I don't even know if they're still open at all.
I'm pretty sure it's like a parking lot,
Yeah.
right? Dude, real quick, remember Grand Prix Racerama? I
Yeah.
miss that place, bro.
Damn right I do. Right
I
off
don't even know if
the
that's,
off
like,
the Palmetto.
Yeah, I miss that place. So I'm walking out of Dayland, right?
Yeah.
Out of the Macy's was in the middle. If you don't know the mall, here, give you a real quick rundown. Macy's was in the middle, and then the other stores flanked it. I'm walking under there. He had just got drafted. He's walking through like nothing, right? Met a bunch of people there, like Philip Buchanan, Antro Roll, whatever, because it was right by UM.
Yeah.
I met him. I was like, "Hey man, didn't you just get drafted by Miami?" He was, "Yeah." I was like, "Hey man, good luck. I saw you ball out against Kentucky." Fast forward who fuck knows years later, my 24th birthday, we're at some club, and it was at Bayside, like in the club in Bayside,
Yeah.
and Dwayne Wade is there, and he like gives me dap. But I've never been that person to be like awed by celebrity.
Yeah.
But like I understand they're just people.
Yeah.
Like I've never been that person to be like awed by a cult. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, oh, this is Dwayne Wade. Where like I shook his hand, he laughed.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was wearing like a tie for some reason. I was 24. I don't know what the fuck I'd be wearing a tie
A
in the
manager
club.
job,
I
baby.
was wearing it was my birthday, and he laughed. We gave each other a dap. Didn't even take a picture. I was like, hey man, thank you so much for everything you've done. And then like a year later, he left to Chicago for that weird year, and
Yeah.
then went to Cleveland. I've just always been like a fan of him as a person. You know what I mean? It was never like the athlete and like what he brought. I was like, hey man, like I just always like Dwayne Wade. It's never like Dwayne Wade number 3. It's been just Dwayne Wade. I've just never been in all that type of shit.
I
He's
mean,
always been a cool guy, bro.
well, I've just like I don't know him like you do. I don't have that personal relationship going back years with D Wade.
It's not
So
a
I can't. So I
relationship.
can't speak. I can't speak to it. But I just
Two
like.
instances.
But I just like the way that he. Man, it's like the way he balled out for the Heat. Like that, he gave his body up. Every time he went into the lane, I'm like, this dude is about to break his back. And eventually, it happened in the playoffs against the Pistons. But that's just the way he played, and that's what it reminds me of with Messi, where at the end of the day, you make a business decision, and it is what it is. But for Messi. I still don't get what Barcelona gets out of it. What do they get out of it? They're not going to get the best out of him.
Nothing.
He's 33 already.
No.
They've made
Yes.
some bad signings around him. I mean, for quite some time now.
Yes.
Just, I don't get it, man. I don't know why not just go out on good terms with your aging star. You're gonna have to rebuild. That's just the reality of it.
The thing is also right, like, and we could like clip it off here in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Is like, what does that send you? What message does that send to other players who want to sign for you? Right? Like, okay, so everybody's either gonna one replace Messi,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't gonna happen, or be like the guy who's thought of to replace Messi, even if you're a center back,
And how do you do
right
that?
back, left back. And how do you do that? How do you replace a GOAT? You don't. You end the relationship amicably and understand that, hey, maybe these next couple of years might be tough. But Barcelona doesn't have any young players to be hopeful for. Like Real Madrid had at least Marco Asensio before he tore his ACL, which is why I thought Eden Hazard was a terrible signing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least build up your young players. You have Dani Ceballos, you have Marcos Llorente. You know what I mean? You have all these different players that you make these different decisions on. Fine. Which now you have Fede Valverde over Marcos Llorente, which is fine. But you have a younger core.
Right.
Barcelona doesn't have that. Barcelona is still playing Gerard Piqué as center back
I know, man.
at the fucking Copa del Rey, bro. You
know
shouldn't
what
be
to tell you.
playing Gerard Piqué in the CDR.
You
Like,
shouldn't be
this
playing
is
Gerard Piqué
not-
in pickup games. Like, what is he still doing there?
He shouldn't be there at all. Like, he should be like, hey man, thank you so much for your service. Let's retire you.
Yeah.
Let's transition you to defensive coach position. He shouldn't be a guy who's still there. I can't name you his backup. I can't.
Not
I
only
can
that,
name you,
yeah. This whole thing with Messi leaving, it's going to affect like you said, it's going to affect players that were thinking about going there, or players that Barcelona was targeting to go there.
Barcelona.
Because Barcelona.
That's the name of this podcast, by the way. Barcelona.
Because of this whole situation, right? Messi's not going to be there or not.
Yes.
So there's a lot of uncertainty there. Obviously, people
And
want to
there's
play.
pressure.
There's pressure. They want to play with him, but now they see that the way that he's being treated, like the greatest player to ever grace your field by far, it doesn't even come close.
Yes.
And this is how you're
100%.
dealing with that situation. Like, who would want to go there? It's not a good look, man.
Look, any
It's
pitch that he's ever been on, the only person you could compare him to is CR7, right? Like, take the emotions and the Real Madridness out of it. The only person you could ever compare Lionel Messi to a CR7 as far as greatness, right? On any other pitch he's been on any Champions League, any Copa del Rey, any La Liga game, he's always been the greatest player. So either you have the ego to try to replace him, or you don't, and then your career is over, and you end up in the Netherlands League or whatever the fuck they have, because you'll never be heard from again, right? Because your career doesn't recover if you had the ego of a Zlatan, but played well like a Philip Coutinho
Right.
at Barcelona. Like that's just what it is, right? Like you can't do that. I don't know.
Which, by the way, Zlatan should have been in that last World Cup in 2018. I,
100%.
I don't know why they like. I
100%.
understand Zlatan's like about 76 years old right now in soccer age. Even at that
It's
time,
soccer years, yes.
even at that time he was 74.
100%.
That dude is a monster. Like, how do you leave that guy out? He was still at that time playing at an elite level. And then of course he left to the MLS, and then because he's so good, he was destroyed. Like, did you see the ridiculous things he was doing in the MLS? I don't know how they leave him out.
Dude, he's balling at AC Milan right now.
Is he back to
He's
AC
balling.
Milan? I didn't
He's
even
got-
keep track. He left the MLS and went
Yeah.
back to Italian football.
Yeah, he went back to Italian football, which I don't know if it speaks very highly of Italian football. If he's still balling there,
Yeah.
a little debatable. Where it's basically just like Juventus and maybe Napoli or Inter Milan, debatably, right? But other than that, like it's not much out there.
Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, and we get ended here. Messi didn't deserve how it ended. Even if he goes back to Barcelona for one more year, and they lose him to a transfer, which would be criminal in every way. Lionel Messi, as a Real Madrid fan, since James Rodriguez got bought by Real Madrid after that 2016 World Cup, 2016.
The 2014 World Cup, where he had
14.
arguably
24th.
one of the greatest goals ever scored in
Son,
in World Cup
that
history.
Volley off the chest. That volley off the chest was legendary.
Volley
Like,
off
one
the
of
chest,
greatest World
hit
Cups.
the ground one time, and as it's coming up,
Bam.
one time it. Fucking beautiful.
Fucking right corner off the goalie.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I'll be honest with you. Look, I'm a 6 year in Real Madrid fan. I did not know when I was becoming a Real Madrid fan that I was gonna see a three-peat of a Champions League. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was walking into BBC with Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano.
I'm not a Gareth Bale
winning
fan.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
Or Benzema.
I'm not a Gareth Bale fan. First of all, neither one of those are. Benzema's a great striker. I think he's top 5, and even now, right? But Bale, whatever. I didn't know.
Oh no,
what I was
Benzema,
walking
yeah,
into
no. I'm
after-
talking. I was thinking Eden Hazard. Never mind. Now Benzema's.
Yeah, no. I think Eden Hazard loses his spot to Vinicius in the next year.
Yeah.
Like I'm deep into this Real Madrid shit. I didn't know when I was walking into Real Madrid as a fan 6 years ago that I was walking into one of the greatest clubs of all time, along with the rivalry with Barcelona. I didn't know because I only knew more EPL, right? You know Manchester United, you know fucking
Chelsea,
Manchester
you
City,
know Liverpool, yeah.
Chelsea, Liverpool, you know these clubs, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know La Liga, right? Like that's just being honest. I didn't know what I was walking into. So now it's a different beast. So now to not have those players, and I'm still Real Madrid, like one of the left backs of all time, like the jersey I have on right now, Marcelo, number 12, like that. It's just different now. It's different. It's crazy, bro. Lionel Messi didn't deserve this shit, man.
No, he didn't. But I hope that he makes it to Man City one way or another to be reunited with Pep Guardiola. They had a lot of success in Barcelona,
Yeah.
and man, they have a.
You can't say it anyway.
They have. I'm gonna keep saying it. And they have a good. They have that shows you the importance of the right trainer, right? The right manager,
Yes.
because that dude, that style of soccer, wherever he goes, they're successful. Man City
Yes,
has had the last
100%.
couple great years, and I think if they bring Messi over there, I think they'll be able to continue to compete at a high level. I'd like to see them reunited and hopefully make some. What is
Oh,
it?
yeah,
Bring that magic back for one more run,
Yes.
for sure.
At least one more run. Get one more Champions League because listen, for all the success Pep has had, He hasn't been successful in the Champions League. Neither has Messi since they separated.
Right.
Right. They need to bring that back. But how great would it be seeing the Liverpool Manchester City games while we're talking shit to each other? You know what I mean? Like enjoying these great games because we don't live in either city, right?
Right.
You don't live in Manchester. I don't live in Liverpool. We get to just enjoy this greatness.
Yeah, and by the way, I
And
should talk to you about CR7 and Real, but the reason why I used to watch EPL and I hate EPL, I hate their self soccer, football. Damn, I just said soccer for the first time on this podcast. Was
I know, I said it earlier. I felt dirty. I felt dirty.
I know
It felt
I
weird.
I caught myself just I was like, oh,
Ugh.
I got to shower like even twice as long. I got to shower
Yeah.
twice as long now. But
Feels like I walked through a spider web. Like, ugh.
I know. Busquets is CR7. He was like he was what 22, 21. Like that was when he was coming up. There was this phenom.
Yes.
And that, and not only that, they had like some young Korean players.
Dude,
And
they had Wayne Rooney on that team.
They had Rooney.
They
Yeah,
had
yeah.
some great players on that team, bro. And yeah, listen, why I was kind of a Man U fan at the beginning was because of CR7.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but this team is boring as fuck to watch in the last 7 years.
But how
So
did
why
they
would
play
I
soccer?
watch
How
them?
did they play it though? They played that power. It was pace and power.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yes.
That's and I don't really like that. I like the tiki taka. I like this the more strategic and moving the ball around, and
Yes.
I just that's what attracts me more to that type of football. So, and it's probably why I stopped watching Manchester and English football in general, because the more I saw it, the more I realized that's just what they play, and I didn't like that type of football. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, we get to be fans of it from a distance, right? But we've also been to those countries where it becomes a different thing, right? Like, I've been to Bernabeu. I've walked the stadium. I've touched the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where CR7 later that day scored against Real Betis, and you've been to, you know what I mean? You've been to Sevilla. You've been to Spain.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling, right? Like, dude, walking through the stadium, seeing at that point 12 Champions Leagues, because later on that year they won their 13th. It's a.
Are you gonna
different
keep
kind of
like
feeling,
naming?
man.
Are you just keep saying how
But
many
should-
Champions Leagues you've
should-
won? This is the second time you've
should I-
mentioned the Champions Leagues that
Should I
they've
not
won.
say that? Should I not bring up facts into this podcast? Is
13.
that-
I got
is
it.
that
I heard
not
you the
what we do?
first time 25 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted you to hear it again. 13.
Okay.
But yeah, man, like it becomes a different thing. Like walking through the halls of like all the trophies and the legendary moments, and even like seeing those moments against Barcelona. Like, this has been a storied club in either side.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one side or the other. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of my hatred of Luis Suarez
And his
or
teeth.
you know what I mean? And his teeth. He's got the biggest teeth in the world. Like, it's just been an enjoyable ride. And the fact that it's coming to an end, it hurts, bro. It really does. Like, I don't want to see it end.
Yeah,
I don't want to see Lionel Messi in another jersey.
This is
I
the
wanted
exclamation
him
mark.
Just like,
But this is how it has to
I
end,
wanted
right?
him. Yeah, I wanted him just like CR7 to be retired and a trophy like Jordan was with the Bulls. Like, that's what needed to happen. And the fact that it doesn't on either side of of the greatest football players of all time isn't fair. But that's just what the reality is.
Yeah, man. I think we got to cut it here. We talked about in the other podcast where sometimes you got to just go cry for 5 minutes. I think that's what I'm about to do after the show's done. I'm going to go cry for 5 minutes and then go watch 21 Bridges, because I as much as I like Barcelona, the reason why I watched them, just like why I actually enjoy watching Real, was because of CR7 and Messi and whatever. I don't feel sorry for them. They're multimillionaires, but at the same time, they could have done better by him. But he'll move on to Man City, hopefully, and I'm looking forward to watching him over there.
100%. Again, man, we end it here, and greatness to say, listen, greatness, regardless of your feelings, deserves better at the end.
It does.
Like, if that's the reason why we watch these clubs, you don't, as a businessman, get to dictate how we feel about it at the end. That's just unfair. Because nobody goes, hey, man, let me go watch Jeff Bezos do some shit.
Right.
That's not how this works.
They're the reason you're relevant.
We care. Yeah, they're the reason you're relevant. Nobody else matters, and you don't matter. Everybody else does.
Yeah. Like,
So
Exactly.
Listen, man,
Right.
As a Real Madrid,
as a businessman,
Real Madrid fan. Good.
As a businessman, you're the one that you put up the capital, right? You're at risk because you're the one putting up the capital. But at the end of the day, like, people are buying the product, and the product is Messi. And if it was for Messi, Barcelona would be irrelevant. With Pep Guardiola and everyone else there, they would not be 10% of what they wouldn't have accomplished it. There's no way that they would have. He's the product. He's the reason people buy jerseys. Why people speak about Barcelona. Why they went to UEFA. Why they went to the Champions League. Why they won the championships that they did. Period. You got to do better.
Period. That's it. It's the players. It's never you. I can't name you 10 or 5 or 2 owners of any league in any team, but I can name you the greatest players they've had. Understand? It's the content, never the owners of it.
Right.
That gets to dictate how your greatness is. Nobody gives a fuck about Josep Bartomeu. Nobody cares about the president of Real Madrid, which I'm a fan of, that I currently at this moment can't name you because I could give a fuck less about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's always the players on the pitch that matter. Yeah, and that's it, man.
You only find out about the owners when they fuck up and they do things that
exactly. And Bartomeu has fucked up
royally.
We out. Peace. Thank you guys so much.